Welcome Pisces to your in-depth monthly forecast for February 2024 for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you some standout features to look out for. Please stay with me. I will explore in much greater depth all the ins and outs particularly relevant to your sign. The 19th sees the Sun enter Pisces, but it's followed on the 23rd by Mercury. That gives you 4 planets in your sign, along with Saturn and Neptune. Saturn is going to apply to the Sun and Mercury as this month draws to a close. So that's really the big news story, but there's a lot of energy pulsating in your 11th and 12th houses before then that I need to unpack for you. You can ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand the power of more serious astrology. If you give me 3 pieces of your personal birth data, of time, date and place, or date and place if you don't know your time, I can produce for you your life roadmap report, your character analysis. This is the foundation for all of our interactions in our lives. We're not totally ruled by it. We can work with it and evolve, but understanding it gives us so many insights to the patterns that have played out in our life so far. Also, you can get your 12-month forecast based on the moving planets in the sky and how they interact with your unique blueprint. Also, if you order with the link below now, you can get 30% off, but you also get my Zodiac, Love, Chinese and Indian Year 2024 booklets, totally free of charge. Please see the link below for more. So Pisces, as you burst your way into February, even though the Sun and Pluto moved on the 20th and 21st of January, respectively, and connected on the 21st in the deep and hugely psychological 12th house of your situation. In fact, as February begins, so the stellar lineup of Mercury, Venus and Mars are actually in a very social part of their journey. They're all moving into the sign of Aquarius, it has to be said this month. And perhaps one of the things that this month begins with, therefore, is trying to define the people that you can connect and network with, those 11th house players in Mercury, Venus and Mars, but who have real meaning for you in a more spiritual way, a deeper connection. Now that can be family members, can be colleagues that we have a great rapport with, and of course it can be friends. Could even be in a romantic context. But with the Sun connecting with Chiron on the 5th, your sense of worth is given an opportunity to be blessed, because that's a very healing aspect and it can help you to feel better about yourself, particularly if you have got some elements of your being that you feel are more vulnerable, or where you've had some concerns, or where you feel more remote from others, or you're unsure of people's sincerity. But on the 5th, Mercury does move from a very social area into a deeply psychological one, and also connects to Pluto. Pluto is about transformations, can be about power, can be about secrets, but in the 12th house, it is going to be right through to the 2nd of September this year, really asking you some big and profound questions about your psychological perspective, and also how aware you are of your shadow side. We all have one. How totally holistic is your approach to your health and welfare, for example. So Mercury connecting here could see you doing some deep research, watching a video that is very profound and gets you thinking, perhaps even about the meaning of life, perhaps even about your own mortality. But it's not lightweight. But on the 9th, the new moon also occurs in the 12th house. Now I'm going to tell you honestly, Pisces, that 12th house new moons are the toughest for any zodiac sign to encounter. Because what we're seeing is the moon in the 12th house is watery, but is hosted by the logical detached Aquarius. The Sun in the 12th house can be, in traditional astrology, very much linked to people who don't have our best interests at heart. So to put it bluntly, those hidden enemies. But this new moon is squaring to Uranus. Uranus is in a very exciting, lively, unpredictable, edgy part of your chart, has been full time for 5 years, and that's potentially at times seeing you over aroused in terms of your nervous system, which may have made it harder to sleep at night at times, but also giving you some brilliant ways of looking at things. And you've probably had some amazing conversations, but perhaps things have been quite fluid around your ideas or the way you've expressed them. This third 12th house new moon could see some information come into the open in the following month that could prove to be a little bit uncomfortable. Now, we all have to work with people that are not necessarily going to be our best friends, but it doesn't mean to say we can't have constructive professional relationships. It doesn't mean to say those people are suddenly going to become villains, but it may be that you're going to feel the point of view of someone who you thought was perhaps someone who was more in your corner. So it could be somebody who surprises you a little bit with perhaps a little bit of a snarky comment, or you feel that there's a group of people who in some ways are just edging you out a little bit. Now that can be a collective energy that you feel at work. The 12th house, which you do have a real appreciation of because of your co-ruler Neptune, can be very much to do with our imagination. So once we start putting together the story in our minds, we can construct a drama which actually is nothing like the reality. But then the other side of it is you're shrewd, you're experienced, you're very instinctive, and you're good at reading people. So when the office politics is going against you a little bit, you're smart enough to know that it's a good time to keep your cards close to your chest. And this particular new moon is one that I would encourage you to do that. If, however, you do want to sign up for a course on counselling, maybe make an application for some higher education around a psychological course, or you are someone who's very interested in healing, there's some new skills you want to learn, or you want to widen the business you already have to encapsulate more people, you could use new media, digital media, in a very effective way to pull people in to become more conscious of who you are. So in a way, raise your profile through good communication. But I think your nervous system could be a little bit jagged on the back of that new moon. Just because it's a new moon doesn't make it entirely positive. 12th house new moons can be challenging. Uranus in the mix suggests that it's best not to get involved in gossip, and also don't listen to any either. And, you know, we're all absolutely pummeled by a whole load of different stimuli these days. I think this is a month when maybe you're best to draw in a little bit, protect yourself. I think that will be very healing. And on the 13th, Mars joins up with the Sun, Mercury and Pluto in your 12th house. Mars 12th house transitions can be complex because the 12th house can be also the things that we've forgotten about or we thought we've dealt with that were more painful, rejections, where things haven't worked out. And Mars can be to do with anger. So it's possible that your mood could be a little bit up and down and rather sensitive, perhaps even volatile, because Mars is going to be applying to Pluto. If there is something that you feel a deep sense of injustice about, it may be to do with something that's going on in terms of the overall fabric of community, so an issue to do with people's rights, where you feel that power has been used unfairly, and your determination to find your voice to help those you see as being threatened or more vulnerable could be really vulnerable with Mars applying to Pluto. But I think the other thing that can happen at the heart of this month, if you are feeling tender around a romantic relationship, then your feelings can be very close to the surface. Now, of course, the next day is Valentine's Day. The other thing that could happen, characterize this, you could hear from somebody that you had separated from, but you still have got quite a connection to, even if it's not necessarily a completely happy one. So, for example, it may have been a very sexual relationship, but there may have been some abuses that have gone on where perhaps you didn't feel as respected as you would like, or perhaps it's you that's drawn nostalgically to get in contact with someone from your past. And the impulse to do so can be very strong, because when we get Mars and Pluto together, that's what can happen. Now, on the 16th, Venus moves into your 12th house, joining up with Pluto and Mars. If a relationship is really struggling and those past injustices or unhappinesses or hurts are not being resolved, it could see an explosion to the surface of what you're not content with. Also, from the 16th to the 18th, Mercury is in a square with Uranus. And again, some things that have been kept quiet can come out in a very jagged, wired up way. But it's much more difficult to construct our thoughts and share our thoughts in a very well thought through way if we're feeling very emotional. So what we've got at the potential at the heart of this month is a lot of emotion. And that emotion can be a lot to do with issues of loyalty, probity, of sincerity, of faithfulness. But equally, with Mars connecting to Pluto, there could be a secret hookup. And I'm being really honest with you, it could be really horny, and it could suit both parties to be clandestine as well. Mars and Pluto in the 12th house with Venus coming into the picture, absolutely possible that that could be part of the equation. But all of this brings us to when the Sun moves into your sign on the 19th. That's going to be such a relief, because you're going to start to feel more in your power, less battered by all these psychological forces. And also Mercury moves into Pisces too on the 23rd. But you could still get challenged on the 24th by someone who feels that your imagination, you're imagining things, you're insecure, you're paranoid, all this kind of stuff could come up as this month draws to a close. But what they need to realise is that the Sun and Mercury combine with Saturn in your sign. One of the things that I think about Pisces people is you will give and give and give, and you can be one of the most sacrificing and giving, brilliant healers, brilliant empaths. You'll go the extra mile to help people. But once it goes too far, it can be like a deep winter freeze. And if someone really lets you down at the heart of this month, I think you're going to have your guard up in a massive way as this month draws to a close. But also what could happen is the psychological energies that are around that new moon are just really giving you your first taste, or your second taste if we take into account Pluto's 11 weeks last year, of the potency of Pluto. Pluto intensifies things that are not obvious, things that are actually beneath the surface, but which are very much to do with leverage and desire and power, lust and so forth, obsession, all those kind of things. You're getting your first taste of it, and my word, are you getting a big taste of it. So it could be you're going to discover somebody who just isn't really as loyal and committed to you as you would like, and it could be hugely hurtful. But you will, if you do get to know, at least know where you stand. So as you retake your power at the end of this month, yes, you may feel that this is a lot of challenges, it's really testing, and it will be, I feel, to some extent. But what you will have learnt quickly is some of the people that have been in your life may need to make way. But if you discover that there are also some incredibly loyal citizens who really have got your back, or someone steps forward who's had a secret mesmerizing attraction for you but has never revealed it, they could do this month. So this is a month that has so many different contours and colours and textures. It really is not going to be dull. So buckle up, Pisces, but by the end of it, I think that you will be feeling very, very determined to reclaim your power, whatever happens to you.